Trying to get. Okay, let's see here. Oh, shoot. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm doing an interview right now. Good morning. Hello.
Oh, hello. Good morning.
I'm sorry, I was fumbling and I locked myself out, so I had to rejoin.
Oh, oh, that's not a problem. Don't worry.
How
Thank
are
you
you?
so much for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. So what is your project?
So it is for my university at this moment. It is a film about the fan base of Heroes 3,
Oh, great.
mostly. So in like particularly in Europe, Eastern Europe, since that's where the fan base used to be at least the most active.
So what have you learned about them?
Oh, I've learned a bunch. So I was born in the 2000s, so I learned a bit about the 90s in Eastern Europe, which
2000.
exciting times. And it seems there is a lot that brings people. A lot of people have like very similar experiences with the game. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea for actually it wasn't until the kind of the advent of communicating with people on YouTube. So I didn't even know that anybody was listening to the old games. So I would start to get letters from people on my YouTube channel. Oh, Mr. Romero, are you the same guy who wrote game music for Heroes? Because on my YouTube channel at the time, I was only doing classical piano performances, just for my piano my piano career. So I had no idea. So yeah, I'm the same person. So little by little, I found out it's like, wow, all these people are coming from Eastern Europe. I wasn't getting anything from Canada or Mexico or El Salvador. It was all the Eastern European countries. So it was so I found out. And then I was invited to start performing at a lot of these countries. So I got to meet a lot of people from the Eastern European fan base. So anyway, I'm very excited about your project. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you. Okay, if you give me a minute, I'll just quickly check that everything with the recording is in order, because the worst thing that can happen is that you finish an interview and then the audio's missing or something.
It's like, oh no.
It has happened to people. So okay, there's just a single thing I need to Okay.
Can I get a glass of water?
Of course. Yeah. Of course. No worries.
Alrighty. Okay.
Okay. So, shall we get into the questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so for start, so obviously a lot of people watching will know who you are, but a lot will probably not. So for an introduction, what's your name, where are you from, and what is your connection to the Heroes franchise?
My name is Paul Anthony Romero. I am a composer out here in Los Angeles, and I'm on this project today because of my music from the series called Heroes of Might and Magic. And I've been doing the music for that game for 30 years, actually. So this is my 30th year. and there's new ones. Yeah, and there's new ones beginning. So I'm gonna most likely be on the future Heroes or the variations. So it's a long time.
Is there an anniversary coming up?
There is. I think this year is technically the 30th anniversary of the first Heroes of Might and Magic game. So I have a new recording coming out, a new book with all the music from Heroes 3, which actually is kind of what I'm editing right now. So see, we're getting it perfected. I did this music 30 years ago, and I did it on a computer. And I played all the parts because all of the sounds were like MIDI sounds or sampled sounds. So I played everything from the flute to the drums to the cellos and the violins. So I didn't need to write down the notes. So the music came out, and then years later, people listened to this basically computerized music. So now people want the notations for it. So I have to go back to my music from 30 years ago and learn it on how to play it on the piano as a piano solo. And once I do that, then I begin to notate it so that everybody who likes this music, and if they know how to play the piano a little bit, they're going to be able to play this music. But also, I'm a classical pianist too, so I wanted to have a book of piano music that also jumps the genre from game music to actual classical piano music. So hopefully all my friends who play piano and who play serious piano will like this music just simply as classical music, even if they don't know the game. So I'm trying to make this a serious classical music book that is the music of Heroes of Might and Magic #3. So.
I might get that to my pianist friend and be like,
oh good,
she doesn't play hum, but I'll be like, oh, you should try this.
You know, I've never, when I was a kid, I was a child prodigy composer. So I was composing since I was 3, but I had my first publication out when I was like 11. So that was the first time I saw my own music in notation, and for the public could buy it. So then my childhood career disappeared by the time I was like 15 or 16, and then I was a nobody. And then I never had anything published again as music notation until this book. So this is the last thing I got notated that was published was when I was 16. So now I'm 59. So this is a lot of years of not being published notation. So I'm very excited for this book because it bridges the world that my job, Heroes of Might and Magic, soundtrack composing, it bridges that world with my previous world of being a classical pianist, and it kind of puts it all together. So I'm really proud of this book, and it's kind of like the Chopin Preludes or the Bach, the Goldberg Variations. So I think, if people just sit down and play the little tunes from this, it's going to be, they're short and they're very expressive and they're classical, but they're reminiscent of Heroes, obviously. So I think it's a really nice book for people who are related to Heroes.
On the topic of bridging sort of Heroes, video game music and classical, give me a second. Where do I have this? Yes, so you have worked with Heroes Orchestra. You have worked. You've also composed for the Factory theme for Horn of the Abyss recently for various fan projects. What are your thoughts, or how do you feel about like? There's a lot of them, all like the fan projects around punk.
I love them. What I found is anywhere I go to do a concert of Heroes music, I usually get to meet at least 500 to 1,000 fans like after the concert. So I really do meet a lot of people. Remember, I did this one tour, and they were making me do a meet and greet after every concert. So that was probably on average of 400 or 500 people a night. I had to meet, take a picture of, sign autographs, and I got to really see their faces and see what they're like. And they're, first of all, very smart. Almost all the Heroes players are very, very smart. Um, Really, really nice. Like, I've become friends with many of the Heroes players just because they came to my concerts, and now I get to work with them. Some of the fan-based projects, like you said, they need music, and I'll just donate a song for them, whatever they need. So I find within the Heroes community, I find by a lot of my friendships, I find a very high likability factor, very smart, and really, really polite. So it's a great world for me to live in, to play concerts for them, to have them as my friends. Sometimes I'll get fans who will write to me and say, "Oh, Mr. Romero, I'm visiting from Saudi Arabia. Can I have lunch with you?" Or so one was just here. I'm visiting from Poland. Can we meet? So lots of times I will meet at a restaurant, and we'll actually become personal friends just from a direct message. So it's really nice. There really isn't a wall between me and the people who like my music from the games. I really feel respect for everybody. So I'm just happy that they like to listen. That's the best thing that any composer. If you ask any composer who wants to be a composer, what's the most important thing? And it's I want somebody to listen to my music. And the number one question is for me, Mr. Romero, how do I become a composer? How do I get people to listen to my music? And that's that's $1 million question. It's like, how do I get someone to look at my paintings, or how do I open up a restaurant and get people to taste my food and like it? It's a very big world of mystery. So when it happens, like for me, I'm really grateful. And so everybody who listens to my music, I really appreciate and value. And if I can meet them, I do it. So I really am happy about that.
Like the Heroes community really is amazing. I mean, I've also I have not, in the making of any of of this documentary, I've always had amazing interactions, and I messaged one group of hey, anybody want to talk to me, and I got 200-300 people messaging me, and I was like,
wow,
oh my god.
This is like the Heroes Orchestra. Okay? I don't know if you know how it started, but it was just a group of friends at Chopin University in Warsaw who play Heroes, and they would get together and just learn the music by ear, and they would begin to play it together after school, and that means 11 p.m. at nighttime. So after a full day of going to school and studying and all the thing, they would meet in the concert hall of the university, because that's when it was available. So they would do this and then send me videos, and they first started off with I think 3 people or 4 people, then it went up to 7, and I'm thinking, wow, these people are actually spending their free time getting together and learning this music, and this is without any help from me, because I didn't notate the music, so they were having to learn it by ear. So it just grew year after year after year, and now a lot of times when they do a concert, it's over 100 people on stage, and nobody gets paid. So this is purely from the heart. So it's a beautiful community. And I'm always reminded of this. I read a very extensive interview about Kim Kardashian, and Kim Kardashian, who are her fans, and does she hang out with her fans? And she doesn't. So there's an interesting relationship between somebody who does whatever it is they do, and they develop fans, would that person then still hang out with those people that actually support their career? And so for Kim Kardashian, she doesn't, she does not and would not hang out with those people that actually support her. For me, I completely hang out with the Heroes community, and I love them. So that's, I don't know how often this happens, but I'm really lucky that I can go anywhere and see heroes. I've been in Russia and people knew me on the train. And they were, oh, Mr. Romero, can we take a picture with you? We were staring at you for 4 hours. And we didn't want to bother you, but now that the train is arriving, this is our last chance. So it's that kind of thing. It's really like really the level of niceness.
That is lovely. I'm actually so glad you brought up that the Heroes Orchestra doesn't get paid, because this is kind of a random thing, but when I was pitching this idea to my professors, right, and I was telling them, there's this amazing orchestra in Poland, and they were like, oh, it's probably like 5 fans, and they like pay the others. And I was like, no, like, what are you guys talking about? And I'm glad I have someone to, I have a source now.
You know what? I love that orchestra, and it's a big honor that they play my music. And I mean, I don't even. The first time I saw them, I was doing a performance at a film festival in Poland, and the organizers asked, "Would you like to go see the Chopin University just to check it out?" And I said, "Not really, because I was really tired that day. I had just arrived. It was raining, and I said, that's the last thing I want to do is be driving around Warsaw. I need to focus on my performance the next day at the film festival." "Oh, Mr. Romero, it'll only take like 5 minutes." So they make me go to the university in the rain, and we get out of the car, I'm walking down the hallways, and then I walk in to the front doors of the concert hall. And I'm telling the person, it's like, maybe we shouldn't be going in. Maybe I hear this orchestra playing. Maybe we're going to be disrupting somebody's rehearsal. So no, it's fine. So we walk in, and then it's the Heroes Orchestra, and they were playing my music as I walked in. So I was just like stunned and shocked because I had no idea that they were going to do this, and it felt like, when people get proposed to for marriage, and you're just kind of like, you're shocked because it's in public. I felt like probably one of the most like beautifully startled moments of my life is to walk into a concert hall and have no idea that there's an orchestra there playing your music for you. And so it was an unforgettable experience. So ever since then, when I come to Poland and I play with them, I don't charge them. We all do this pro bono because it's something that we love to do. So it's my relationship with this group of young people, and we do it because we love the music. I mean, I love music, they love my music, and I love the fact that they like to play my music, so I want to play with them. So this is not like a financial gain situation, because those concerts are very expensive to put on, renting the halls and the instruments and getting just everything going. So it's a labor of love. So it is truly something that we cherish, really from the bottoms of our hearts, and even if it costs us money. So your teachers were, they had something there.
They were a little skeptical, but I love the way you talk, because this is going to be my next question. What was it like to hear your music live for the first time? And no, I don't need to ask that probably because
I used to hear my music live when I was a kid, when I was doing concerts like 9, 10, 11. I was playing with orchestras that were playing my music. So to not have that happen for, another, I don't know, so from the age of 16 all the way till almost 40, 50 actually, yeah. So that's a lot of years. For 35 years, it's 35 years of not hearing your music played by an orchestra. It's amazing. It's kind of like if you're an actor and you were in a movie 40 years earlier and now you get to be in a movie again. it's like, wow, the universe works in very strange ways. Because when I was a little kid, what I really wanted from my life was to compose music and to play with an orchestra, to play together and just play it for an audience. And so that was my dream. And it happened all the way until the age of 16. But then when I finished college, I couldn't get any work in music. I tried every which way to become a pianist, to become a composer, but when you're a young composer, nobody really wants you to compose. There's not like a special building you can go to and knock on the door and say, "Hey, I'm a composer. Like, can you pay me?" So it was. I thought at that point my career was over in terms of music. So that's why, in my 20s, I kind of forgot about music because I couldn't get a job. So I worked as a salesman in construction. I was a cook for 2 years. I sold ink for IBM, for companies that had IBM printers and they needed to buy the ink. So I did everything just to make a living. And then when I was 28, I met somebody from New World Computing, and they go, "Oh, you used to be a musician. You know, we need music. Can you write some music that sounds old, like?" Are you like old, like classical music? And yeah, we need something like that makes people think of castles and dragons and all that. It's like, sure. So that's how my relationship started with Rob King, and we did our first. He produced my very first soundtrack. So it was it was just a kind of like by accident. So if I had not gone to a party and met Rob, I don't think I would have had a chance, or I would have known anybody else to give me a chance to write music for computer games, because I've never played a computer game and I don't hang out with people who play computer games. So I don't think that opportunity would have ever come my way except through this party. So, you know, in life you never know. You think you know what you want and what would make you happy in life, and sometimes your life takes you a whole different path, and you have to be okay with it. And then surprisingly, sometimes that path that was different brought you all the way back to the very thing that you wanted in the first place. So this is where we're at. So I'm having all the things that I wanted when I was young, and I just never thought it was going to be through a computer game, especially through, I mean, Heroes of Might and Magic. So it was it's a very serendipitous ride for me.
It's a real life changer.
It is, and I tell people this all the time, you know, because I have a lot of young friends who they're trying to get whatever career they're having, they're trying to get it launched or lifted off the ground, and they feel like disheartened if it didn't happen, or it's not happening the way you wanted it to happen, and you still have to have a happy life, and you can't like ruin the levels of happiness that you experience because you're not getting exactly what you wanted. Because sometimes the universe gives you actually more than you thought that you wanted, and it just through a different direction. So for me, you know, it's that was my experience. So I tried not to get frustrated in those challenging years.
I also have a kind of related question to that.
Mm-hmm.
In talking to people about Heroes, I've had various stories, obviously, and people have told me. I had a guy tell me the story of how Heroes has, pretty indirectly, but it has like essentially led to him getting engaged. I wanted to ask if you ever think about the way that like your work affects people.
Surprisingly, I've had a lot of people play Heroes music as they walk down the aisle, because you're right. They met somebody through playing Heroes, and they became friends, and then they fell in love. And so I've even played. So I have a friend named Michał in Poland. So he said, "Paul, can you come to my wedding?" So I actually went to the weddings of two people in Poland that I know through Heroes. We were Heroes fans, and at both of their weddings, I played the pipe organ when they were walking down the aisle, and then the other one I played at, I think, at the reception. I did a whole Heroes program for them. So just with those two people that I know, and then I've had a lot of videos of people sending me videos of them going down the aisle with their Heroes music playing in the background. It's like, wow, it's a very the game really brings people together, even couples who end up getting married. So I'm surprised by it, but I'm not surprised, because it makes sense if you share something that you love with somebody and they love it too. So then you should get married.
I love how sometimes these interviews evolve. I was going to ask you, what is your favorite Heroes theme, but I'll actually ask, what song do people usually play when walking down the aisle? Because I was not aware that this was a thing that people do.
I've had, let's see, somebody walk down to Castle, I think Castle. That one, and to win, I know for sure those two. Never a battle. That would be good. But those two I know for sure. And that one of them walked down to the main thing.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the microphone isn't picking up the piano.
Oh, it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Castle.
No, it's not a problem.
Yeah, it was.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. That's weird. Yeah. It was Castle theme, main theme, and Win. I know for sure. Those actually work very well for people in the future who want to get married.
I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Not married yet, so I'll keep that in mind. If you don't mind, I'll circle back to something we talked about before I kind of started recording.
Okay.
But did you know the game had such a following in Eastern Europe? And is it as popular, or does it have such a following in the States, for example?
No, it has, I would say, zero popularity in the States. So, because I didn't play the game and I'm not involved in the actual playing of the game, video games came out after I was an adult. Actually, Dungeons and Dragons came out when I was in high school, but I was so busy in high school with my music career and studying that I never had the space in my life to get started on video games. So I never did. So then when I started writing music for video games, I'm at the computer all day long writing the music, so maybe sometimes up to 12 hours a day. So once it's over, I need to get off the computer and do something live. Like I do a lot of dancing, so I do a lot of collecting. I'm with my friends a lot, dancing, architecture, a lot of stuff that requires me to leave my house. When I was going to Eastern Europe a lot, whether it's Ukraine, Russia, Poland, Hungary, there were people who just knew who I was, and I don't know how they recognized my face, but they would even stop me on buses, restaurants, airports, and it's like, wow, people really know this game. In the United States, nobody even people haven't even heard of it. So, like, a lot of people ask me, "Oh, we heard that you're a composer. Have you written anything for any computer games that I would know?" And every time I say Heroes of Might and Magic, they're like, they don't know it. So I think because Americans like games that probably are not as difficult and maybe are more like violent and fast paced. Because everybody knows what's the car one, Grand Auto Theft. Everybody knows that one.
Yeah. GTA.
So I just think because the game is difficult and you really have to be smart, it attracts higher level of education. I think it's what it is. I do find that almost everybody that I know or have met who plays Heroes has higher education. So that's already a special thing that doesn't always attract that in other kind of games.
That's, I actually didn't, now that I think about back through like the people that I know play home, like it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to know what the main reason I found was why it's so spread in Eastern Europe?
Yes, yeah. Please tell me.
It was in the 90s in Eastern Europe, computers were pretty scarce
Mm-hmm.
because Yugoslavia and the USSR just fell apart and all sorts of things happened. And Heroes had it was easy. It was easy to run on any computer, and you could play the hot seat. So you didn't need multiple computers, so people could just like share. There are like lots of
I
people
see.
who are like
When it was their
six
turn.
of us would play together.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Oh, you know what? So that's why it's very community based then, because I see a lot of people, like a lot of people in the 30s now, when they're having like a weekend and they're all in the same room. And somebody has the main TV on, and everybody else is on their laptops, and they're all playing Heroes at the same time with their snacks, and it's very community oriented. So that's why. Okay, nobody ever explained that to me.
Well, it's also that the game has like it's kind of Slavic aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dragons. That's a part of the mythology and whatnot.
What's really funny is that the game was made in California, right here in Los Angeles, and we don't have anything like that. And so I'm not. It's very interesting that people in countries that have this type of culture of the castles and the legends and the chivalry and the battles and the dragons are really responding to the thoughts and the ideas of people in California. Same thing for me, because I'm from California. I'm not even my parents are Mexican, and so I don't have a background in classical music in terms of the people that I come from. They never listen to classical music. I think I'm the first of my family of the generations that actually began to listen to classical music and to actually play classical music. So it didn't really exist with my parents, my grandparents, and my great grandparents. They only listened to Mexican music. So yeah, so when I meet people who, like, let's say in Poland, the music of Chopin comes from Poland, but a lot of my music is based on Chopin because when I was a kid I played a lot of Chopin. So a lot of this music, people in Poland like it, but they're not recognizing that it's because of their composer, who I loved as a child, that I'm actually refiltering the music back to them. Maybe in a new way, but because a lot of people I met haven't heard the music of Chopin in Poland. And so when I play it for them, I say, this is Chopin and this is me. You can see how close they are. They're like, wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't realize it was so similar. So I always tell people, if you like my music, then you should listen to this or this or this or this. Because most of my music in the games have a source of inspiration. When we're doing a soundtrack, I have to have templates of other composers of what sounds might work. Maybe from this composer Rodrigo, this composer Chopin, maybe this part of Franz Liszt from one of his piano concertos, maybe a little bit from a Mahler symphony, the end of this Mahler Seventh Symphony, which I love. I have to have a real, tangible musical inspiration before I begin any soundtrack. So, on the soundtracks that people really like, I always try to give the direct inspirations for all the pieces. So they can go back and listen to real classical music after they heard mine, and they're gonna like it even better. So it's always important for me to let people know the source of what they're liking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to like check out some of that as well, because obviously I know like some classical music, but I don't have, I'm not a studied musician per se, so I'm definitely, I'll ask for just for myself.
Sure.
What is I guess the inspiration for Rampart? That's my favorite theme.
Okay, well, that actually there's a couple of things. There was a pop song in the '60s from a movie called what's this movie called? It's about this actress. She's addicted to drugs. It's called The Valley of the Dolls, and the song is. Oh, you can't hear it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
I'm sorry.
Maybe
Sorry.
you can change something in the settings, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't want to complicate.
I don't know.
There should be like.
But I'll send it to you privately.
Somewhere.
So the song is called. It's the theme from the Valley of the Dolls. So
Okay.
the climax of the theme from the Valley of the Dolls is also the climax of Stronghold, because as a kid, I listened to that song probably like 10 times a day, so it was in my blood. And so it came to me when I was doing the Stronghold theme. The other thing was Khachaturian. There's an Armenian composer called Aram Khachaturian, and the opening of Stronghold is very similar to one of his pieces from one of his ballets, which I love very much. So, Khachaturian, if you like my music, listen to Khachaturian, and and also to the Valley of the Dolls. Also, I listened to, when I was a kid, I listened to the singing of Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand had such she wasn't a classical singer, but she sang almost like an opera singer, with very, very long phrases, very beautiful orchestrations, very operatic voice, meaning that it was so expressive to the outer reaches of expressivity of the voice, from the most powerful of the powerful to the most gentle of like a butterfly. So a lot of my orchestrations, the way I orchestrate, a lot of it's influenced by the orchestrations that were on her recordings from the 60s and 70s. Because she had really, really fabulous orchestrators at that time. So as a kid, I would listen to it over and over again, and it really stuck in me. Actually, one of the pieces from Heroes 3 is very similar to a song of hers called Niagara from the early 80s. I just love the sound of the rain coming down, with how they use the harp and the piano. So I've used a lot of inspiration from Barbra Streisand orchestrations. So, yeah.
That's very cool.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, when I was a kid, whatever I heard on the radio or whatever I heard on a recording, I was able to duplicate. That I taught myself when I was 3, and I would just listen to something and figure out how to play it myself. And then if I couldn't figure out the entire song, I would just make up. I would improvise the rest of it. So I would develop the musical language of, let's say, a song or a piece by Chopin, and then I would just improvise on what I already figured out, and I would just do it for hours and hours and hours. Like literally, I think sometimes when I was a kid, I'd be sitting at the piano for maybe 6-7 hours, and maybe when I was like 5 or 6, and then my family, who are very athletic, they'd be like, you have to go outside, you got to get some sunshine, and you have to. My father was a boxer, so he really wanted me to start boxing and like leave the piano just for a few minutes and go outside and box, swim, do anything. So, but I think because I probably have a little bit of ADD, meaning that when I like something, I will stick at it for hours and hours and hours, and then time flies just like that. So as a result of that, I learned almost all the Barbra Streisand songs, how to play them on the piano. I learned the textures. I remembered the orchestration. So when it came to computer games, I had a huge source of music that I loved that I wanted to include. So, so if you ever listen to Streisand, you might recognize some of the orchestrations.
I'll definitely check it out. There's also, I noticed there's I have a bit of a coincidence here. So you mentioned an Armenian composer. I have, if you see me looking down, I have my questions written down, but there's only one name in my questions, and coincidentally is also Armenian. So one of my personal favorite musicians, I don't know if you're familiar, but Serj Tankian believes that music comes from collective consciousness and that it kind of connects all of us. Do you believe that music connects people?
Oh yes, I know for sure it does, because in my experience, I can be in a concert hall that has maybe 3,000 people, and it's very, very noisy, right? It's a lot of people with paper, the programs, little kids, and then the music will begin, and then poof, like wow, silence, like it's like a magic potion that just got blown into the audience, and all of a sudden they're on a different trajectory than they were like a second ago. And I remember this used to happen to me a lot as a kid. I would go to the mall with my parents, and they would have like these piano stores, and I would be like maybe 5 years old, and I would just start to play. I would just literally start to improvise, and all of a sudden, a gathering of people would appear from people walking by, walking by the music store, and they would just like surround. They would surround me just to listen to the music, and I thought, wow, this is very strange. I mean, when I was a kid, but I learned very young of the power of music and how it connects everybody to the same wavelength. So music is a very powerful tool. And so I always honor it in that if I'm playing, even at a friend's party, and I'm playing the piano a little bit, I try to really connect with, like, every kind of feeling I have into what even if it's at a party, because I learned that's the only way to transmit to anybody who's listening. Otherwise, they're not going to feel it. Otherwise, it's going to sound like a bar pianist that nobody's paid